top 5 songs that are stimulating?
Pretty Little Fears by Black and J. Cole, especially J. Cole's verse. That's my favorite verse. It's such a beautiful song. Frequency by Jhené Aiko, I think would be my second. Really anything by Kehlani, probably. I would say let's do Escape by her. This is a hard question. I got 2 more songs. I'm trying to pick different artists. Let's do. I'm trying to think of a song that like stimulates any sort of feeling, because like my playlist normally just it switches around a lot. Let's do Thank You by Kehlani is a really good song. I tend to play that one a lot as well. Fifth one, I'll say Once an Addict by J. Cole. I don't really have a lot of different artists, but that's okay.
Why become a painter?
It's a really good question. It was just really a sort of natural inclination. When my freshman year at Bowie State, I met a whole bunch of, different and creative people. Right, Key, including you. And like I said, I used to sing a whole bunch. But I felt like I could expand my art in a different way, and I always sort of wanted to paint, but I just really didn't know how because I had no formal training in it at all. So one Christmas, my mother just got me some canvases and some paintbrushes and some paint, and it just kind of started from there. The beginning of 2018 is when I started taking it really seriously, and I really started honing in on it a little bit. Like I said, in order to, go through, just everyday issues and things like that. So yeah.
Besides just putting out art, what would you want? How would you want your art to impact your community?
One of the main focuses of my art, and I guess the purpose of my art is to heal. My paintings heal me in some sort of way, and so I would want them to heal, the community in which I put them out in. I like to see everybody's different opinions and what they get from my art and how it affects them in these ways. So I think that would be my main, what I would want my art to do for people is to heal them.
Who is your number one influencer?
My number one influencer, if I'm being honest, would be myself. Like I said, my art is a separate and sacred part of me, and I think that's mostly where I get my influence from. Other than me, I would just have to say the community around me, the Black community, the spirit and the nature of the Black people around me is a really, really beautiful thing. And I tend to sort of put that in my art as well, because that sacred side of me is also a part of the community in which I live in.
How far do you plan to take your artistry?
That's a really good question. As far as how far I want to take it, there's no real destination to where I want to go. The amount of impact that my art has had on people is really amazing. How it's affected people, what people think of it. As long as I feel like I can do that and do that with as many people as possible, it doesn't really matter the amount in which the distance in which I really take my art as far as accomplishments or anything like that. The only thing I want my art to do is to affect people. And if that means just, hopefully that will be nationwide, statewide, nationwide, worldwide. But if I tend to feel comfortable with a citywide influence or a statewide influence and have it just be that and get the sort of satisfaction and fulfillment I need, then that's perfect for me.
Name 3 underground artists you would want to collab with, and what would be the feel of the piece?
3 underground artists. One would be, his name is Marcus Snow God on IG. He is amazing. He is an awesome artist. He loves color, things like that. And we have very much of the same sort of feel as far as that the amount of color that we put in our paintings, bright colors and things like that. Another one, her name is Tyler. She's absolutely beautiful. I love her so much. She's from New York. Her artist name is Infinity Arts. She does a lot of abstract painting, sort of Basquiat inspired painting, and her paintings have a lot of symbolism in it, which I feel like her art as well as my art would go together perfectly. The last one, there's this boy from the UK. His name is Kevin. Kevin is absolutely amazing too. He does a lot of abstract sort of grotesque work on clothing and things like that. And his style is amazing as well. I feel like the more abstract the art is, the more I'd be able to fit into it. All of these people put together, I feel like they would create very different vibes. They'd be, very cool or sleek with Kevin. They're very abstract and gritty with Tyler. And very colorful, like I said before, with Snow.
Okay. For Lovers Only, is that a part of your brand? And what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so that's my brand name as far as my art goes. That name itself is actually under some reconstruction. So I don't really go by that brand name as of right now, but it does encapsulate who I am as a person and who I am as an artist. I think above all of these things that I am, I'm a lover first. And my art is all about love. It's all about the love of the journey and discovering yourself and finding yourself. Discovering yourself and finding yourself. And For Lovers Only seems to be an exclusive name because it's lovers only, but when you think about it, in the journey of life, everybody seems to love something. So my art is for the lovers of anything that you love, whether it be sports, music, life, just in general. So really my art is for everybody.
How do you come about what you're going to create? So like, how do you figure out like, oh, I'm gonna paint this?
As far as my creative process, I don't have a very ritualized creative process. I paint whatever I feel first. That's why I really don't do a lot of commissions, because I like to be able to have a free space in whatever I'm painting, free range in what I'm painting. My paintings come from a feeling, and like I said, there's a lot of symbolism in my art. So mostly what I'll do is if I get a feeling or if I have a feeling of what I want in my art, I'll actually sit and I'll meditate on it for not long, maybe 2 to 5 minutes. I might think of the colors, or I might think of, the sort of texture that I want, the sort of feel that I want. And just kind of like that, an idea will pop up.
Do you have an artist name, or do you just go by Rachel?
I just go by Rachel. People call me Ray. It's a short name.
So what's the deal with this Mings Golden?
So Mings Golden, that's my IG name. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my art, but that has to do with me as a person, which in turn affects my art. My grandmother is part Chinese, so when I was growing up, everybody called me Ming. So that's where that came from. The golden part came from my favorite colors, gold, yellow, whatever you want to say. I have the word gold tattooed on my ankle as well. And that color just symbolizes a lot for me. It symbolizes, youth and sacredness and royalty and happiness, enlightenment, all these things and these things are who I sort of envision myself or embody myself to be. So the word Ming's Golden is, Ming is golden, as in Ming is all of these things.
What's the motto that you live by and why?
A motto that I live by? A motto that I live by is a quote by Rumi, who is a philosopher in 13th century Sufi poet. Surrender for the sake of love. Is probably the motto that I live by. Like I said, everything is comprised of love, and taking love out of something is a very heartbreaking process to do. And I think everybody in their life has sort of seen an absence of love, but in reality, that's what everybody really wants. And sometimes you do have to surrender, and you do have to put your want for love before your fears, and you do have to surrender these things in order to gain the love that you want in your life.
Have you ever thought about doing any sensual or sexual pieces?
Yeah, so one of the pieces that I actually finished last week is more on the sensual side. Um, I think mostly now in this generation or in this time 2018, 2019, or whatever you want to say, there's been this, especially in the Black community, there's been a real awakening of womanhood and sensuality, especially with Black women. And I do want to sort of encapsulate that in my art as well, in this sort of awakening of femininity as well, because femininity really doesn't have just to do with women or girls or anything like this. Femininity and womanhood and sensuality is really in all of us. So I do want to bring that out as well.
What's the most important piece of information you have obtained so far in life?
The most important piece of information I've obtained, I would say it's probably two things that go hand in hand. Is to love the journey that you're on, because I've started to realize that you can create your own narrative, and instead of saying, life is happening to you, something bad happens, try to think of, life happening in your advantage or life happening for you. And in these really difficult times, because just like everybody else has had really difficult times, but in hindsight or in retrospect, these difficult times have grown me to be the person that I am. And so I really learned to love the journey, even if that gets difficult, to really love that moment. Loving the journey in itself has really helped me become more at peace as a person. I would say the second piece is, like I said, like loving above anything else. Like, love is above pride and hate and fear and jealousy and all of these things. If you tend to focus on love, you don't really have too many negative things to say or think about life.
How do you make people aware of your work?
I use mostly social media. My Instagram, Mings Golden, y'all can follow me on there. That's mostly what I use. That's mostly what a lot of people in this age use. Social media is a great and amazing tool to use, and like a lot of networking and things like that, going to events. I've just been fortunate enough to meet some really supportive and endearing people to help me spread my work.
Explain your aesthetic, the way you dress.
My aesthetic, I'm a real tomboy. I've always been a real tomboy growing up. I have a very, I would say, if I had to put it in a word, I guess you could say like a very city sort of style. Lots of sneakers, not too much jewelry. Me personally, my aesthetic is more of like who I am as opposed to how I dress. My tattoos, my piercings, the way I wear my hair, things like that really help people get to see my aesthetic. But I'm not too much into, tight clothing. I love men's clothes. I would just say anything cool, comfortable, anything like that.
Okay. What are 3 pieces that are a part of your aesthetic besides your phone, and what are their purpose?
3 pieces. Are you talking about art pieces? Are you talking about like just pieces in general?
Things that come with you. So like if you always wear like a
right.
bag or something.
All right. 3 pieces that are part of my aesthetic. I don't have them in right now, but I have gauges. My gauges I normally always have in, and they're actually pretty big. So those I would say are part of my aesthetic. My tattoos, definitely. I have over 20 tattoos. And they're also a really good conversational piece. Everybody seems to be drawn by them, I would say. And I would say my sneakers. I'm always wearing sneakers every single day. I'm wearing a different type of sneaker.
What can we expect from you this year and in the future?
This year, I do actually have a couple of events coming up in April, in the summer. A lot of art shows I'm doing then, so y'all can check that out. I do have some more interviews coming on that's going to be on my IG as well. What? Hey y'all, this is Rachel. I just finished my interview with the Orange Pop. Y'all can check me out on Instagram at Mings Golden, Twitter at Mings Golden. If you guys want some art, hit me up at forloversonly@gmail.com. Peace.
IG at Mings Golden, and bam, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? However you want to end that, bam. So yeah, whenever you're ready.
Say it one more time. Just one more time. Hey y'all, this is Rachel. I just wrapped up an interview on the Orange Pop. Start over.
You can say on or with. It don't matter.
Alright.
Some energy, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Just bring some energy. Alright. Hey y'all, this is Rachel. I just finished up an interview with alright. I'm tired of saying it's just blowing me. Alright.